Okay, I guess it's time to get going. My name is David Manel. I'm the Director of Product Development here at Accountantsworld. Today's webinar is going to be on mobile uploading of documents. Couple of things about this. This is where you'll be able to, or you or your clients will be able to take pictures of invoices, checks, and in the future other things, and upload them automatically into the program directly from a smartphone or a smart device. First of all, this will make it a lot easier for things to get to you from your clients, because obviously taking a picture and then just sending it is something that's easier than scanning. It's more convenient than scanning. No matter where your client is, your client's out somewhere, they're at a vendor or something, the vendor gives them the invoice. At that point, right then, they could scan the invoice in, take a picture of it. See, I'm too much on the old terms. They take a picture of it, not scan it in, and then upload it into the program. This is going to be a pretty short webinar. Usually I'm really rushing trying to get all the information in, but this may be a short webinar, but this is one of the most powerful features, I think, that we've come up with. And it really has a lot of potential to help you grow your practice, to help you offer better service to your clients, and a lot of potential for different ways it can be used in AccountingPower and other programs that we have. Okay, so the first step when you're going to be doing this is you got to get it set up. And in order to get it set up, you would allow your clients, or you want your clients to know that you have this service. So we have an email letter that's available in the program that will show your clients where they click in order to get into the program, what the link is, and how to get in there. So this is located for you. You go into Resources, Supporting Documents, and down at the bottom of the page, there'll be an item there called Mobile Upload Documents. And all you do is you click on that link, and it'll send an email to the client who you happen to be have open at that time. And just before I advance, there's something that, although we do not have it yet, and it may be a little ways off in the future, we're also planning on adding a feature where, not just for this email, you can go to a screen that's very much like the client management screen, where you see all of your clients listed, and you'd be able to select the clients. So at some point in the future, you'll be able to go in there and tag all the clients you want to send this email to, or a lot of other emails that we provide, rather than having to do it one at a time. But at this point, you go into the client that you want to send it to, you click on Mobile Upload Documents, and then they will receive an email. This is an email that kind of will explain how we're taking advantages of the latest in technology, how you're taking advantage of the latest in technology, that you want to invite your clients in to have this convenient new feature, that using this feature, they'll be able to just snap a picture of a bill, a payment, a check, and upload it right to the online accounting system. This will ensure that it's recorded and processed properly and promptly. So what your client will do after he gets this, he can open up this email right on his smartphone, and he'll go right here, or he or she will go right here and click on the link. This link will take them right into the location in order to do all the work that's involved in the program. And what they should do, you may have to help them, but I think most people today are very proficient with their smartphones. Once they have this link in their smartphone, they should mark it as a favorite so they don't have to keep on going back to it, a favorite or a bookmark. So anyway, right from where they receive the email, they click on this link and it takes them to this screen. And in this screen, they'll enter their firm code, the username, and the password. And as soon as they then click on go, it will take them right into the program, right into the screen where they enter the information. How this operates is also set up based upon who's entering the information here. A client can enter the information and he'll be routed one way. You can also use this feature to enter, to take pictures of documents. It's just that if you do it as the accountant, you'll go to a different starting screen. So anyway, they enter the information. As you can see, when I came in on my phone, it already had, because it remembered from before, my username. And if I choose, it can also remember my password. One other point about this webinar, normally I do a live webinar actually in the program, but since I can't really show you what's going on my phone, I took a lot of screen prints and just put them up here. Okay, so they enter this information and it's going to take them to a web page. And one point to remember is this is an actual web page, not an app. So the client doesn't have to go to the App Store or to, I think it's Google Play, in order to download an app to be working with this feature. I'm not saying that's really an advantage or a disadvantage. I'm just saying that it's something to remember, that they do not have to go and download an app in order to run it. It takes them actually to a web page. So if you log in as a client, if you log in as yourself, you're going to be taken to this screen. And as the accountant, you'll have the choice of being able to select which of your clients you're doing this for. And of course, you can also do it for your firm's own client. Once you select the information, you simply click on Done, and then it will take you to this screen. And this is the exact same screen that if a client had logged into, he would be taken to, because obviously he doesn't see other clients. He just is starting at a place here, and the system automatically knows which client he is on. So the first step at this point would be to add documents. So they click on Add Document, and it's going to take them to this screen, which is the Upload Accounting Document screen. Now from here, there's a few different choices. One is they can now go into bills to be paid as a type of document, and also, which is something new, they'll be able to do cash receipts. This would be like if they received a lot of checks or something from clients. So they have 10 checks, they're depositing them, and they can then send the checks to the system so they can be entered by you, the accountant, or by themselves later also. So at this point, they have the two choices down below. They can either take a photo or they can go to the photo library. The main reason why they'd go to photo library is maybe they had 5 invoices or something, and they just went and took 5 different pictures of them first. Then they could go to the photo library and select which ones they want. So now they've chosen if they're going to take a photo or select. They're in this screen. They'll take the photo. I'm not really showing you the photo that I take. And once they've taken the photo, the next step is going to be upload the invoice to AccountingPower. So now what I did is I went in, I selected bills to be paid, I selected take a photo, and I just took a picture of an invoice that I had on my screen. I pulled it up on the screen. So the client will see this the similar picture to this, and they can go back in. They can take as many pictures as they want before they upload them. And they could also go in and add as many documents as they want from existing documents that are in their phone. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to show how to add with the one document. It's really pretty much the same. It's all pretty easy, very straightforward. What they do now is they click on upload. Just once again to remind you, they have a choice either for bills or cash receipts. And you have to do one or the other. If you're scanning in bills, you scan all the bills in and then you upload them. If you're scanning in checks or cash receipts, you scan all them in and then you upload them. So now that they've scanned them in, the next step would be for you, the accountant, or if they were actually going to do their own accounting, they could go in and do this, is you go in to either the expenses screen to enter bills or also into banking cash receipts, whichever one have been scanned in. When you go to this screen, all the invoices that have been scanned in will be there ready, waiting for you to process. So you select the bill that you want to process. This is the one that I just scanned in. A couple of things to remember when you're on this screen. When you're on the screen, you'll be able to move around down usually in the bottom here in a PDF, and you'll be able to zoom the picture if it's not big enough. You can come down to this corner right here and either expand the document to make it larger, the whole page, and you can also from here move around to position it if you want to be able to see it better. So anyway, you come here, you see which document it is. The next step after you process it is to enter the information from the bill. So you're going to come in here, you'll click on preview. From preview, you'll be able to see the bill. It's a pretty nice large picture, and you'll be able to fill out the invoice directly from that bill. So of course I see it's invoice number 4, I see it's $4,500, and I enter all the information. Of course, purchases would default, since I'd already said that Pruner Cattle Company's default expense account is for purchases. Okay, so the next step, this is really how you would do it for the processing of the bills. But the new feature, which I didn't actually do one now, I put it in a little bit earlier, is to process checks that are written by clients. So as I mentioned before, the client would enter cash receipts, they check that box, and then they upload them, and they would all come to this screen. They'll all be waiting for you to enter. And something I didn't mention on the other screen, and it's the same for the other one and for this one, once you process a document that's waiting there to be processed, the next time you come out, that document is no longer in this list here. So that way you keep track of which ones you've done and how many are remaining to be done. So in this case, I clicked on this one, which was a check written out to Widget Manufacturing, which happens to be the client that I'm working on right now. I see that it's Castroville Farm Services. I see how much the amount was, and I would now click on process. Once you click on process, it'll take you right into the cash receipt screen, And from the cash receipt screen, you can click on preview. You would then see the invoice in here, and you would be able to enter the information directly off the invoice. So it's check number 1000, the amount is $2,500. And of course, as I'd mentioned before, it was Castroville Farm Services. So you would select all that information and you would enter it into the system. This can be a good feature that you can also add to offer to your clients. Because what your clients can do now, they can write all the checks. I mean, not write all the checks, receive all the checks, get ready to deposit them and everything else. But they don't have to be worried about actually entering them into the system, maybe getting the wrong expense, the wrong revenue account, the wrong receipt type, maybe the wrong department if you're using departments and features like that. So if you have clients who don't want to be doing this type of work, you can then do it for them. It's very easy now. And it's a nice little added revenue stream for you. You can also, if an invoice had been entered, a sales invoice for this client, you can come in here and you would be able to click on invoice payments and then apply it against existing invoices. The only difference is when you're doing an invoice, what you do is you click on invoice payments, and then over here it would say attach, and then you would click on attach and you would be taken to the previous screen where you see all the list of outstanding receipts for you to enter. And then once you selected the one, then you could apply it to the various invoices that are there. I'm not really going into details of how you can apply invoices. So this offers, one I showed how you can do as far as for recording information, but it also gives you the ability to easier offer a bill paying service. It's easier because now, since it's easy for your clients to get the information to you, it makes it much easier for them to have prompt stuff coming to you. Anything that's easy is always, well, I can't say it's always better, but in general, when it's easier, it's better. So the way that this would happen, the client would scan or actually take a picture of the invoices. Then you, the accountant, process the invoices. So you'd be coming into this screen that I showed before. One by one, you would process all the invoices that have been scanned in. As you process them, you come to the screen to enter the information. Now, once they're finished being entered, then you need the client to approve the bills for payment. So the client will go to the Expenses Pay Bill screen, and from this screen, they will select which bills are okay for them to be paid. The client will be able to see what his balance is, so he knows, yeah, I have enough money in the account to pay those particular bills. And once the client has marked all the bills to be approved for payment, they simply click on Approve Payments. A little window will pop up. It'll show them the amount of the payments and also what the check date is. Now, one thing that can be done with this check date, if it can be in the future. So if a client is looking at this and he says, I want to approve all these bills, but I don't really have the money yet to have them paid. So he can go in, approve them. He'll see what the total amount is, and then that client can then enter the date when the check should be paid. Once this is done, you, the accountant, will go into the print check screen, all the checks that have been approved. will be here waiting to be printed. It'll show the date that they're to be printed over here, and whatever date the client chose is the one that will print out on the checks. And then simply they can be printed. They can then be put into the cloud cabinet, and that cycle is kind of done then for you. Now, as I said, this was a pretty brief webinar, but this is just the beginning of the things that we can see for this feature. First of all, we'll be able to be using it in the future, although none of this is really decided or promised yet, but I like to promise things, is that other screens will be able to use it in AccountingPower. So we foresee adding that feature. We also foresee that this has a lot of potential in other programs that we have. It could be used in certain areas in the payroll relief program. Maybe it could be used with 8655 or other things there. I'm not really sure everywhere that it could be used. And really what I would like is suggestions from you, the users, some places where you feel you could see this helping you out other than just what I've shown you so far. And now to finish off the webinar, I'm just going to show a couple of other new features. The first is we have a few new items here under the resources screen. We're also going to be redesigning this screen a little bit in the future, or at least that's our plan. I don't think these features are used anymore: client account setup, vendor setup, customer setup. This is more from back in the days when people used input sheets, like in the tax programs when people used input sheets. But anyway, for now, on this screen, we have two new letters. One is the letter for the complete accounting services. This is a letter that if you're going to be offering services like this to your clients or more, it's a letter that explains exactly what you're offering to them and how it can help them. We also, as I showed before, the letter for the mobile upload client email. And another feature for anyone who came from CSA or is coming from CSA, we've added the ability to migrate and import data from the Creative Solutions accounting program. Finally, is also we now have in the program a place where you can view any prior webinars that have been done. So what you do, you go into Resources, Webinars, and it's pretty straightforward. From there, you just click on the one that you want to listen to. So if you miss this webinar, except for the last 2 minutes, probably by tomorrow I'll have it up there for people to listen to. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I want to thank you for giving me your time. I really feel this is a tool that can really be powerful for your practice. And once again, thank you very much. So let's see as far as if there's any questions that I can answer right now. Will the check date selected by the client be used if the checks are printed the following day? The date that'll print on the checks is the date that's selected by the client. The next question, is the screen displaying the invoice or checks a pop-up window that can be dragged to a second monitor? I will check that out. I don't believe it can be dragged to a second monitor. And here is one suggestion that somebody put in here already. It says, could this be used to receive signed engagement letters from the client as something that we could do? I see that as being a smart suggestion. Are the documents stored in the cloud cabinet? Yes, they are. And the final question here that I'm going to answer is, where do we submit our suggestions? What I would do is send them to me. I'm David Manell. My email address is dmunnell@accountantsworld.com. And I promise I will look at it and really consider it. And one final question, are the documents viewable after the transaction is entered? Yes, what you can do is any document, actually let me open up the program here. If I go into a document where the bill was entered, it will say on the screen up here, preview. And so all I do is click on preview and that'll pull the document up. So once again, I really appreciate your time. I really want your suggestions. And I am excited about this enhancement. Thank you very much.